Oh boy, this is bad. This is really bad. Good morning. So I watched this video in a live stream last night, AMC stock, infinite short interest. Infinite. And I came across this one section here that is just particularly bad. I still can't understand how these guys think this type of shit is in any way acceptable or intelligent or useful. So let's check this out.
It is some cause for concern. How are we going to really know that the data that we are looking at is accurate? We are called dumb money sometimes, but it really is not our fault.
I beg to differ, but
don't have the accurate data, and that is what we need. But when we look at this situation right here on what happened, if we're thinking about in terms of like a scale of validity or probability that one of these glitches could actually be accurate, this one makes the most sense in my mind, just due to the fact that Morningstar was listing it as 18.88%, and then TD and all of these other different brokerages that were supposed to be using Morningstar was listing it as 40.25, and the number was the same everywhere. The other thing that we need to think about is, yes, even though Morningstar is listing this as 18.88% over here, well, on Ortex over here, we're seeing the exchange reported short interest at 18.84. It's not that big of a difference, but how hard is it to get the accurate number for the exchange reported short interest? The exchange should know how many shares are sold short at any given time.
They do. That's why they tell you number of shares short, 96.7 million. 96.7 million. He's bitching about the percentage being different. Okay, 96.7 million is the actual number. That's the number that's reported by the exchange, not 18.84. They report the number of shares that are short. Now, when we come back here to this Morningstar, what does it say? Oh my God. Oh, it actually says 96.7 million. It's the same number because that's what the fucking exchange reports. So he's bitching about this short percentage of free float figure, which if you want to bitch about that, okay, that's something. You could make a case for that because the reality is, I'm going to go to TD Ameritrade here. Now it says shares outstanding 514 million. Okay? And we come down to short interest and it says, click on this, it says the number of shares of a security that have been sold short by investors. It is typically expressed as a percentage of the total number of shares outstanding and is reported on a monthly basis. Well, no, right? I mean, everything else says short percent of free float. And outstanding and free float are not the same. Here's Fintel showing 96.7 million shares. They don't tell you the percentage unless you pay money to them. I don't pay money to them, so I don't know. Here's Yahoo, shares short, 96.7 million. Come to Fidelity 2, 96.7 million. So short the VIX is ignorant. It's infinite ignorance is what this is. He has a narrative, he has an agenda, he has a bias that he wants to sell you. He wants you to believe, oh, there's this big discrepancy in the short interest. No, there's not. No, there's not. There's no discrepancy. It's 96.7 million. That's what was reported on the 27th as having settled on the 15th of December. That's it, period. End of story. Now, all these different percentage short interest of free float, all that shit, there is some variance there. But that's not because of the short share information. It's because every fucking brokerage has a different number for the float. So that's what the discrepancy really should be. That's what he should be talking about. But see, that doesn't have anything to do with shorting. That has nothing to do with the short interest. Has nothing to do with the fact that they think the stock is going to moon at some point. No, it has nothing to do with that. So why would he talk about that? There's no end. It can't be used to manipulate opinion and sell a narrative the way that they can with the short interest. But I mean, how stupid, how ignorant, how aloof, how full of yourself do you have to be to literally show this shit on the screen when you say this crap?
But how hard is it to get the accurate number for the exchange reported short interest? The exchange should know how many shares are sold short at any given time, but they don't.
The exchange should know how many shares are sold short, but they don't. Well, yeah, they do. They said 96.7 million. Ortex is calculating the short interest percentage of free float. They're the ones doing that calculation. If you go to FINRA, you go to the stock exchange, They tell you the number of shares sold short. They don't tell you the percentage. They tell you the number of shares because that's all they keep track of. Shares marked long or short. If it's marked short, it gets counted as a short share, and that's what gets reported. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. And all of this blowing this out of proportion and, throwing a hissy fit and acting like a freaking Karen. That's what he sounds like. He sounds like a goddamn Karen. All this nonsense that they're saying this shit is because they believe that there's millions of synthetic shares, naked shorts. The price should be way higher. This number, this 96.7 million, which is what he should be saying, not 18.84% or whatever the fuck percentage, should be talking about the number of shares that are sold. That's not enough. That's not enough because they want it to be higher and they want to believe that shorts haven't covered. This really is one of the worst videos I have seen in a while from any AMC. Oh, and by the way, the only silver lining in this whole thing right here is this. Music's playing, right? Okay, good. 0 gained subscribers for the month of November. Good job, Short the Vix. You're doing a great job. You got 0 subscribers last month. That's fantastic. And look at these. The numbers just like crawled to a halt as the fall and winter set in. October, 200 subscribers. November, 0 subscribers. So at least there are fewer people who are subscribing to this nonsense. But you need to correct yourself and get it together because this is bad. This is really bad. Have a good day. Happy New Year. Catch y'all later. See you here.